Firstly, I'm honored to be here. I'm delighted with the setup here, and I'm glad to be amongst great speakers. I'll try and explain to you my story and my purpose here, and hopefully you can relate to it. How I'm going to start is my title, which is The Coach We All Need, the Coach We Can't Avoid. So the first thing I want to say is, when you're coaching, sometimes you surround yourself with better people. You make sure that you're surrounded by people that are better, more intelligent, more quicker, because they do exist out there. But sometimes experiences in themselves can help you through certain obstacles. And what I mean by that is, if I go through something and I think that's the end of the world, I can't overcome it, later on in my journey, whether it's competing, whether it's family, whether it's work, whatever it is, I will be able to get through it because things always move on. And that's what I want you guys to relate to today. Everyone has an inner coach inside them. Sometimes we see them and sometimes we don't, but they do come out. And the idea of coaching in itself is more of a holistic approach than just a trainer. And that's what I've come across in the last 14 years of being here. So I'm going to give you a little brief about my story, my background. So I already grew up to an incredible father, an incredible grandfather, shoes I could never fill. All I wanted to do was play sports. Unfortunately, there was a bit of an obstacle, because when you have those kind of shoes to fill, orthopedic surgeon, historian, Islamic professor, I'm as Arabic as they come, but I was born and raised in the UK. My father is from Iraq, but I've never been there before. So the UAE was my first stop to actually experiencing certain things. Family, essential. If you don't grow up to a beautiful family, you eventually have a chance to create one. Again, the inner coach in yourself. Support. In certain things, make a big difference. In sport, that's where I found my love. My love was in football. So I wanted to be a footballer, except there was one little problem. I was very, very overweight. That doesn't really help in sports. So I weighed about 93 kilos when you move from primary school to upper school. And just to give you an insight, I'm sure you guys will be aware of something like this, which is body fat. And that's only 2.5 kilos of body fat. And how now when I think of it, it's kind of disgusting to touch it. Even the people at the hotel didn't want to take it out of the car because they were like, is that supposed to be taken out? And that's what it is, it's body fat. And in the UAE, we need more awareness of how serious it can get. With diabetes and rates of illnesses going up high, it really, really is essential that we actually educate people. And that's up to us. All the coaches in here, and that's you, that can actually coach people through. I'll give you an example. My meal when I was about 11, I won't go into the brand, but 2 burgers, 1 chicken sandwich, 9 nuggets, and then an hour later, I'm serious. It's funny now. An hour later, because I didn't want to miss out on the fish fillet, I had the fish fillet and the apple pie. And I'll tell you what, that was me just eating. It was honestly, genuinely just me just eating. And I didn't realize the sincerity until you move from primary school to upper school in the UK, when there's a lot of competitors out there that want to do better at a very young age. Nowadays, you can sign someone up in football from the age of 8. And that's the horrific thing when you're 93 kilos and you don't want to go on that scale. It can scar you for life. Well, scar most of us for life. That's the inner child in us. We all have that as well. And I had to go through that because I didn't know any better. Now, I deal with kids, teenagers, adults, and all sorts of people that really, really don't think I can relate to them in any way or shape or form. It's incredible. It's your job, as well as mine, to really spread the word. And here, mentioned, I love the word grassroots, because you really start from scratch and you really build something. When I came here in the 90s, it wasn't as incredible now. When I came to visit the Yas Marina circuit last week, I was overwhelmed. I saw kids on the back, strapped safely, on the back, on the Yas Marina circuit, cycling. And I was amazed. I said, I wish I had that when I was growing up. And it was incredible. I absolutely loved it. I was so overwhelmed by it that I videoed it on Instagram. And people can't experience it until you actually go through it. When you see children at least being aware, familiar with the surroundings. And that's exactly what we should be doing more. And with speakers like what we have today and people like yourself, we can definitely push that even more. And I want you guys to really take that seriously from today, if you haven't already, because it's overwhelming how it's growing. The UAE is growing. I love it because that's why I left the UK. I left the UK for a challenge. That was my story. My story was to come and give to my own roots, which I'm as Arabic as they get, probably with a British accent. Some say I've lost that, but still, the whole point was to give. And I've come here to raise that awareness. My purpose. In the 90s, when I visited here, there wasn't this beautiful structure we have. I wanted to come study here, but the problem is, they didn't have my degree. And I wasn't going to be a lawyer. My dad's already an orthopedic surgeon, so I'm not competing with him. And my grandfather was just an absolute legend. So all I wanted to do was play sports. So my closest thing through education was sports science. Nowhere. I went all over to look for sports science. They laughed at me. They actually thought I was just trying to get away with just playing sports. It is a degree. It does have a lot of benefits. It does give that child an option to develop, to do something that they love. And that's what it comes down to, your passion. You could have 100 people, they could be passionate about different things, and they could offer their own skill set to what they want to grow into. And that's what I wanted to do. The difference is, they didn't have it here. So I came back in 2008 with an idea that I wanted to. I got my degree, I got my sports and exercise science degree in the UK, and I came here, but I had more than that. I wanted to do a lot more. I wanted to help people. I wanted to speak to people. More importantly, I wanted to listen to people. I wanted to see what they had to say and what they thought of what was going on. And you often see a lot of people talking, but not much people listening. So how can you understand what the problem is, or understand their situation or their story if you're not listening to them? And that's the key thing that I came across in my experience, and I'm still learning. I'm still learning every single day. I was sitting in the room waiting for this to eventually kick off, and I was learning some more stuff about triathletes, about psychology, about mindset, and that taught me something. So have a free mind and try and clear yourself to actually learn more. There's two things. Through a lot of people, sometimes when you surround yourself with better people, people that are more intelligent or more athletic, you learn from them. Be humble enough, be grounded enough to actually do that. There's no harm in that. I've gone around to so many gyms in the UAE. Ironically, I came out here to set up my own facility. And I did, and I have, and thankfully it's running. But even now, I still go to other facilities and I still train there. And they will say, aren't you? I said, no. Are you Omar? Yeah. So what are you doing here? I said, I'm coming to learn from you. I'm coming to understand what great services you have. You can teach me something. At first, I think it's competition. I think that's the problem with the UAE. Now, the awareness is great. There's gyms opening up everywhere. There's trainers everywhere. But let's not forget the purpose why we're here. We're not here to saturate the UAE with gyms just for the sake of being in competition. We're here to educate those people, and that's the problem. We sometimes just forget. We're here to help people. We're here to educate people. If you have a client that comes in, or a child that comes in, and they want to lose weight, they want to gain strength, they want to perfect CrossFit, yoga, anything, help them. Stop worrying about the competition and focus on the individuals, because at the end of the day, you can make a difference to these people. And I go around and I train everywhere, so you might see me, well, you'll definitely see me here, that's for sure. But you might see me going around to other places and trying them out. That's what we need to do. My inspiration came years back when, sadly, I lost my brother who grew up with a deficiency. And already he was being judged. He's super intelligent. He's only 1 year younger than me. Super intelligent. Everyone loved him. But he looked different. That's my coach. That's my inner coach. So now when someone comes in and speaks to me and says, listen, I want to lose weight, you don't understand what kind of problem I have. So what's your problem? I've been trying to lose weight for the last 5 years. I say, so what's your problem? And they kind of look at me and they go, if you can do it, that'll be amazing. Anyone can do it. And what I learned from my brother was, he could take any obstacle, anywhere, and he could make it happen. And people used to love him. And he came here to study. But the whole point of that was, that's my inner coach now. Now when I'm dealing with people, listening to people, coaching people, I think of him and I think, he can do it, I can do it. And that's a simple example, and everyone here goes through things. How do we help? Ask your questions. Question hashtag HealthX, hashtag Coach Al-Duri. I'd love to answer them. We're running short for time at the moment, but your purpose in life is to help people, is to educate people, to start from scratch. Don't be afraid to do that. Stay humble, stay grounded. And on my last slide, just a couple of my coaches. Think about it. All these people have helped me where I am today. Coach of the year, person of the year, it doesn't really matter. You can get better, you can get stronger. At the end of the day, they're what helped me come here and have the chance to speak in front of you guys. Thank you. My name is Omar Al-Duri.